A very warm welcome to this short presentation introducing the science part of your Access to Teacher Education course. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to go through some of the common questions that people ask as they start this particular course. Your first few sessions will introduce you to some of the important study skills that you're going to need to get the most out of your course. You'll begin the science proper at the beginning of October. You'll have one session a week, an hour and a half, and bear in mind that for each 1.5 hours in college, you'll need to spend an average 1.5 hours on private study. It'll be a bit more some weeks and a bit less others. Now, Access courses are unitized courses. Each subject is broken down into one or more units of study, and each unit of study, once completed, will gain you a certain number of credits. In most cases, it's going to be 3 credits. The exception is your research project. In total, you'll need to complete 60 credits to pass the course, and 45 of those are going to be graded pass, merit or distinction. They're the ones which the universities are probably going to be the most interested in, because it gives a measure of your abilities. Okay, let's just consider the science. The science is made up of just 3 units, totaling 9 graded credits. So depending on your achievement, you may for each unit get 3 credits at pass, 3 credits at merit, or 3 credits at distinction. The grade awarded is the grade you get. It's no longer possible to retake assessments to gain a higher grade. This is called grade polishing, and it was outlawed several years ago by the national regulations. So, how are you going to be able to get the best grade, the sort of grade that makes a university want you on their books? Well, one of the key factors is going to be your attendance and punctuality. That plays a huge part in your success. Missing sessions inevitably will lead to poor results or even failure of the course. And the college rule is that you need to attend a minimum of 95% of the sessions. Otherwise, you risk being withdrawn from the course. We also have a very strict rule of punctuality. A lot of the important material in each session happens in the first few minutes of the session, the first half hour or so. So if you arrive after the science sessions have started, you'll find you are locked out. No exceptions. If you do fail a unit, then you'll normally be allowed a second sitting of a fresh assessment. I say normally. And that result may also be graded pass, merit or distinction, so you get 2 bites at the cherry. If, however, you fail the second sitting, then you need to apply for what's called a referral resit. This has to be considered by the Access team as a whole, and by the internal and the external moderators of the awarding body. It's not automatic, but if you are granted a 3rd attempt, it's called a referral and it will be capped at pass. If, however, you submit work that is late or incomplete or superficial or just gives the impression that it's been submitted just in order to meet the deadline, this is counted as a non-submission. And again, you'll not automatically be given another chance, but if you are, again, it will be capped at pass, and there'll be no further opportunities given to do resits. Let's just take a look at the science units themselves. Starting in October, you'll be covering a unit called Cells, Tissues and Organs, a biology unit. And that will last you through until November, when you'll sit a timed closed book examination at the end of the unit. Next, Starting in November, you'll start to study a rather longer unit called Digestion and the Liver. And that will last you through until February, when you'll sit the end of unit exam again. And finally, starting in February, you'll start on the chemistry unit, which will take you right through until May. That has a few practicals in it. It has no exam, you'll be delighted to know, but the assessed practicals are absolutely crucial, so you mustn't miss those. And the assessment itself will basically be a set of questions on what you've covered in the unit, as well as evidence of the practicals that you've done. In addition to the in-class workbooks you used for notes, you'll find ample material available to you on Moodle. It'll be in the form of texts and videos and podcasts. Students tell me at the end of the year, if they get disappointing results, they wish they'd made more use of this extra material. So do keep your eyes on Moodle and integrate it into your normal revision and your study so that you'll get a really firm grasp of the material. And then finally, people often say, well, what do I have to actually do to succeed at the course? And obviously you need to work at gaining a grasp of the stuff that you've covered. Make sure you organise your time. So in other words, have some dedicated slots in the week for your hour-and-a-half study. Don't do it 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I mean, that's okay, but you do need some extended periods of study. So we're talking about spend a good 3/4 of an hour to an hour actually consolidating what you've studied and testing yourself and testing your understanding. You also need to find a working space. Decide where you're going to actually work. This might be a mobile working space in times of time. So in other words, you might wait until the children have gone to bed and then produce your working space out of a hat, and it can be wherever it's convenient in your house, somewhere you can spread out. A lot of students actually try various ways of getting a dedicated working space and dedicated time, and they actually come to the conclusion that the easiest way is actually to stay at college or to make use of the college, the library, or any of the study rooms and actually do their studying there. They'll be free of interruption under normal circumstances, unless the fire alarm goes. And you can get so much more done when you haven't got people making demands on you. Obviously, you're going to have to make the course your first priority. And that means you might have to actually say to friends when they invite you out for a drink, actually, I've got this assignment to do, or I must just do an hour's study. This is my time for doing the study. Because once you get out of the habit of using that dedicated time, it's awfully easy to fall behind. On the other hand, do make time for relaxation. Make sure that you've got a good diet, that you get plenty of sleep, that you get plenty of fresh air, that you spend time with your nearest and dearest, and make use of exercise as well. I'm not talking about marathons, I'm talking about just make sure you get out for a walk. You can do that when you're at college, just go out at lunchtime, have half an hour's walk. But do make time for family and friends, and if you get invited to parties, that's absolutely fine. Nobody's going to get the big stick out. Have a good time, but the main thing is don't turn up at college stoned or drunk or hungover the next morning. Otherwise, you're likely to be very gently led from the premises by the security team. That's one thing that we don't actually put up with here. So, that's your Access course, and I hope this has given you some information that's helpful. And I'll look forward to seeing you for your first science session I'll probably be seeing you for a study skills session before then. But I hope you settle in well to the course, and I'm sure we're going to have an absolutely super time. See you soon.